My man.
All right,
We are back.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, man? We in the building. We in the building one more time for the 2023 football season. We got my boy Coach Green. What's going on, Green?
What's up, babe? Good to see you again. Welcome back.
Yeah, man. We just in this thing, man. Just taking a little rest, man, for the break, getting some of this basketball stuff going. So just glad to be back, man. We finally are able to go ahead and present an award for this Player of the Year. After all has been said and done, and get to take a break into the spring, man. At least I know I am. I know you got some recruiting stuff going on. We also got another signing day coming up as well. But tonight, man, it's pretty much a special edition. Go celebrate a couple guys, three guys, man, that are pretty much our finalists, and we're gonna bring some people in that are going to pretty much give us their stance on how they view these guys, what their experience with these guys, what they've seen from them, man. And this came down to coaches voting. We sent out about 25 different votes. We got about 18 different responses, and we waited until the playoffs were over so everybody could get a good get a good view of what's going on. Because as we talked about earlier today, a lot of people only saw themselves. And when the playoffs came, at the end of the day, everybody got to see, Mr. Drackett up until a certain point, Mr. Newton, of course, to the end. So before we get started, man, you got anything you want to add on, Green?
No, I just want to add that shout out to all the players throughout the season. Everybody had successful seasons. We were able to witness and see a lot of those guys sign with their respective schools on early signing day. Like you said, there's still some guys left us out there that's got to sign, but for the those big time guys that did their due diligence of making sure they took care of things not only on the field but in the classroom. Those guys was rewarded for their efforts in this early signing period. So hats off to those guys, like you mentioned, the Drackets and the Ionatas and those guys who were able to capitalize on 4 years of success. And now they're able to sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor at the next level. So congrats to all those guys.
What's going on? Shout out to the old coach, man, over there at St. Pete. Moving on to some greener pastures over there, man. He's definitely somebody who kept me abreast of what was going on with Coach Jones. I mean, with Mr. Jeff Jones over there. So, what's going on, Coach? Man, definitely want to wish you the best moving forward. You definitely one of my guys, man. And once we get bigger, definitely gonna be looking forward to talking to you. So, shout out to Coach. Um, so man, it came down to three guys.
Mm.
Mr. Drackett, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Newton. Overall, what can you say was your take on I mean I'm not gonna ask who you voted on, but
Mhm.
what was your criteria? What did it boil down to as far as who you decided to pick?
Well, for me, it was by no means was it an easy decision. And of course, I'm mold and went back and forth on why I should pick this guy over why I should pick this guy. But what it kind of boiled down to me was number one, who was like the leader of the team, um, who had the most on field success, and then ultimately, um, where was the guy positioned at the end of the year? Remember, we had some guys whose seasons was cut short just because they didn't make it to make it as far as other guys. So we were able to kind of watch certain players as the competition got stiffer down the line. And then one of the questions that popped in my head was, would the guys who were out of the race been able to have success against the caliber of teams that was left in the playoff if they were at that level? Some of them was a maybe and yes, and then some of them was like, I'm not sure. So it kind of gave me a new way to look at how to judge the ones that was left and then the ones that played throughout the season. And so again, like I said, it wasn't an easy choice for me. But after going back and forth and mulling over it for a while, I finally came down to a decision to pick the player who I felt was, the player of the year.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, it was a crazy choice. I went back and forth, and everybody dropping your comments, man. Who would you have voted for? If you watching,
Absolutely.
dropping your
Let us know.
comments, man, we go let us know. But it definitely throughout the season it switched up, man. These five guys, along with players like Greg Thomas and Josh Robinson, they all were in that mold, and it all changed up. I know Mr. Raymond was new, so it took us it took us actually about 2 weeks to really see what he could do, but he came onto the scene strong, and the thing about him is, you know um, he they played some great teams. They played Lakeland. They played what was the team out of Orlando? I forgot what was the team, but they played some strong competition out of South Carolina, and Mr. Raymond pretty much showed up every time. Nobody expected him to show up like that. We had Evans Chuba, who we thought was going to be, the unprecedented leader of the offense, along with Dallas Sims. But Raymond, a surprise out of Canada, man, he came in and he showed up big time, big time. So Jeff Jones was pretty much consistent with what we thought he was going to be. He was our player of the year last year. Drackett, a huge jump, from number 50 one year. I remember, we had people come in and ask us why we didn't put Evan Brady in front of him, why we didn't. I mean, that was our first top 50, and people were getting on us about number 50. You know what I'm saying? And this guy made a huge jump to the top 10, probably one of the biggest jumps outside of Avion Mac as far as our rankings. And of course, Shawnee did his thing, and then we had our Notre Dame commit Sean Sevillano, who showed up big on the defensive front. Let us go ahead and go ahead and bring in my boy Lane real quick. What's going on, Lane? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
What's
Man,
How
going
you
what's
on?
up,
guys
bro?
doing?
Man,
Yes, sir.
we doing good, man. We doing good, man. Of course, you one of our voters, man, and you came on throughout the season. I know you actually one of the few guys who I believe you seen. Well, it's down to our top three, which is Shawnee, Drackett, and Jeff. I believe you seen all three of them play, right?
Yes, sir.
You saw all three of them play, and just those three. I'm not gonna ask for your vote, but with those three right there, what did it come down to as far as what you saw throughout the season?
It came down far as my opinion as far as stepping up in the big time games. All three of the candidates are all have the ability to win. You know, but when I look at the whole picture, I look at the crucial moments. I look at the big games, who you're doing it against, and to me, that's what's big. That's what separates, the champions from, you know, the people who would, sometimes to step back. So that's what my pick come down to who did what in the big games.
Definitely, man. For me, it switched up, man. When the playoffs came in, it that first week, of course, all three of these guys won big performances. Next week, we saw Jeff go out, Jacob continuous big performance. Shawnee, of course, putting the team on his back. And then, of course, as it went on, we saw Shawnee in the end go down to Chaminade, Madonna. And of course, I think that influenced something. Even though he went down, I think his run and seeing him consistently do what he that run. I think that that might have swayed a few people. What you think, Green?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he was the last one. I think a lot of times the last person you see is the person that's going to stay in your mind the most. You know what I mean? And that's what I kind of preach throughout the process, that how would the voters look at if everybody that was in the race was finally out, and then it was one guy left standing or two left standing, and one guy had been out for a while. Would those guys be out of sight, out of mind type thing? And with the three that was in it again, um, would they have performed just as good as they had when the competition really was, because as you get further in the playoffs, the teams get better and better.
Yes,
And
sir.
we saw both St. Pete take a loss, a tough loss, as well as Calvary took a tough loss. And you kind of say, okay, now what would that process have looked like if they had played some of the teams that CCC played, you
Right.
know? So so that kind of factored in, I believe, to some of the votes that went on, and I'm not sure how it swung. I'm just saying that could have been something that may have factored in, but again, I'm anxious to see who won this thing, man, because it could go in either way. It could definitely go either way.
All right, definitely, man. We go bring in my boy Andy real quick. Andy, what's going on? Can you hear us? Up, I think Andy muted. Let me see. Uh, can you hear us,
How about
Andy?
now?
Yeah, we
I
can
can
hear you
hear.
now.
We hear you, Andy.
What's going on? Can you hear us?
Yep.
Hey, what's going on, man? So I don't know if you've gotten to watch so far, but we talked about five guys so far, Mr. Raymond, Sevillano, um, and it's boiled down to three other guys, Jeff Jones, Mr. Drackett, and of course Mr. Newton. Um, I believe you voted, and what did it boil down to? What did it boil down to as far as your vote? We're not going to ask who you voted for, but what did you look at as far as for the player of the year?
Well, I think you definitely got to take a look at overall meaning of everything they did on the field in terms of everything they could do to help the team win. Obviously, having a performance that you felt like he had to put the team on his back. You also take a look at what he has available to him in terms of, the weapons around him. And these three final candidates, Jershaun Newton, Jacob Drackett, and Jeff Jones. I mean, all quarterbacks, all different. They all have a different style of play. And um, I mean, this past season for me, Jershaun was the only one I got to see live, but I mean, watching film of Jeff and Jacob, obviously, take a look at the numbers. I mean, spectacular season. A lot of reasons why Air Force is going to be his home here soon, and definitely put up some big numbers. Definitely kind of mimics or mirrors what he did last year. I mean, so I think a lot of us knew this senior year he was going to have another big season, and really, I thought this was a team that could really, if you go back and look at it, I mean, they're a Berkeley prep loss away, and I guess if you let your mind and imagination go, you could probably sit there and say, hey, maybe Calvary, they're right there with Berkeley prep. Maybe Jacob could have led the Warriors to a state championship. That's something to kind of think about. But Jacob definitely had a lot of help, a lot of weapons, big offensive line. Jeff did it all with his legs, a speedster. Really, just what I would say that he was a run first quarterback, but he can throw the football. I just but Jershaun, I thought, just seeing him a couple times and then looking back at games throughout the year, especially, the both CDS meetings. I mean, he had to come up clutch. I mean, he really stood out in those games and made big plays down the stretch, and didn't just do it with his arm. I mean, dual threat kid, did it with his legs too, and was just tremendous all season long for Clearwater Central Catholic. And I would tell anybody, just ignore what happened at the very end of the season, the state championship game, because if you think your team had a chance against Chaminade, you'd be really very wrong. So don't. That's why I kind of was like, CCC, none of those kids should have their heads held low for any reason whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Jershaun included. No team in the state. Yeah, I'll even, I've said it. I think they'd even beat IMG Academy. I saw them twice. Chaminade is, to me, the best team in the state. And, no shame in losing to them the way they did. Just take away that game and really just look at what CCC did the rest of the season. And Jershaun had a masterful season. Did a great job.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So, hey, we definitely appreciate your input on that end, man, because we know that you definitely did some. You put a lot of mileage on those cars, man, and we definitely know that you saw a lot of players in the state. So, we value your input definitely on that, man, and we definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on and give us your perspective because that, I mean, that's pretty much, I think, what a lot of people are looking at. Like I said, it pretty much boiled down to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And what pretty much everybody was able to do. But that doesn't mean that that's where the voting went. But I think that a lot of the county was very, very proud of how the playoffs ended. Even though all three didn't make it, I think that the county was very, very proud of what CCC did. We know that we know that what we're up against when we're facing Chaminade, but I definitely look forward to CCC coming on next season. So we appreciate you, Andy. You want to stay on? You're definitely welcome to come on. We got a few more coaches coming on. That I know they're going to be ready to answer some questions. So hopefully they'll be coming in pretty soon. As far as next year, do you have a list of guys that you've already got your eye on for Pinellas?
Well, I mean, Jershaun will be right there at the top. He'll be back. Obviously, Josh Robinson, another one. I
We lost you.
these games, which the Hyundai Elantras, hey, these are the best cars. That's what I said. Putting on the mileage, I was like, from going from the Panhandle all the way down to Miami to watch teams all across the state. I mean, I just wish I could see every single kid. But I mean, really, I'd have to put together a full comprehensive list. But I mean, really, Jershaun, Josh, Austin Ho, I thought he had a nice season also for Calvary. Man, I'd really Antoine Raymond, Clearwater Academy International. I mean, I was at that game where the miracle happened at Sarasota Riverview. Unbelievable. That was the most. I mean, talk about no chance. I sat back and was like, I think there was 3 minutes left in that game, and Joe Queen, Cavalcleese. That's his last name. I feel like I always say it wrong. And that's a kid to really watch out for.
Oh yeah,
my gosh, he can rip it. That's why Coach Chinchar told me, he's like, Andy, yeah, we don't got our starter, but hey, this kid, he's not far off. He's not, and I got to see it right there in person.
A freshman, right?
Yeah, freshman quarterback. So 3 more years for the Knights. Yeah, I wish a lot more teams would play them. I know they've been really getting after the top dogs all around the state, and rightfully so. They always have top tier talent, a lot of Canadian kids as well. But they definitely showed me a lot in that Sarasota Riverview game. Really, a lot of just overcoming the adversity that they did, because you're down like 2 scores. You kind of don't think you have a chance, and then they get the most. I don't know. Everything went right for them, and everything went wrong for Sarasota Riverview to have as much time as they did at the end, because of I would say kind of questionable decisions at the end by the opposing team. And seeing that Raymond at running back, I mean, they are right about him. He's somebody, not just the Tampa Bay area, I mean, the state, really needs to keep an eye on, because he showed out against Homestead at the very beginning. And everyone should have known right then and there when he was producing against Homestead. He needs to be somebody to really keep an eye on, because Homestead gave Aquinas everything they wanted in the Class 3M state championship. So don't take what Raymond did against Homestead and kind of sleep on that. I thought that was I think some people didn't think Homestead had what it took to get back to the state championship, and when I saw them against Columbus during the season, I said that really rose the stock for Raymond right there to me. I said, if Homestead could do what they did to Columbus, which Columbus ended up winning the state title, I mean, Raymond is the real deal at running back. I mean, he's going to be somebody that everybody needs to keep an eye on. But yeah, there's a lot of kids are also graduating that are big names. So there's going to be a lot of new kids, a lot of new names to really get to know. I know that Tylon McGee over at Clearwater, he had a big season, over 1,800 yards. He's going to be gone. You got Parkes Harris and Porter over at Tarpon. They're graduating. So
2 studs.
Yeah, 2 studs. I mean, really just going around the county, like a lot of names going to be graduating. So it's going to be, I think, getting to get to know new names and seeing who's going to be the new stars, because you got your household names in terms of high school football on the Pinellas County end. You got those guys coming back, but then who are the newbies? That's, to me, kind of who's going to be the ones to show in the spring that they're going to be the next, that they're going to be the dudes to really keep an eye on and see what they produce in the fall 2024. So I'm excited just to see how these districts all pan out. Obviously, a lot of interesting reaction to how these districts were put together. Some favorable, some not favorable. Some coaches, vibe I get is coaches didn't really care. They just want to put together a schedule. They're like, hey, give me my district and let me put my schedule together, because I'm tired of waiting. So yeah, I'm ready for spring ball tomorrow. Like, I wish we could get out to practice tomorrow, but it's gonna be a lot of just waiting and seeing who emerges here.
All right, cool, man. Well, I got my boy Coach Hemingway waiting, man. Let me bring him in real quick. What's going on, Coach? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
What's going on, man? So,
Him, what up, him?
Hey, what's up, big man?
You got it.
Yeah, man. We got my boy Hemingway, man. He's from St. Pete, so of course he's here on behalf of St. Pete and Jeff Jones. So we appreciate him coming in, man. We just wanted to get a few questions from him, get a real deal perspective on what he sees from Jeff Jones on a daily basis, Jeff a Jr. So just starting off, man, Coach, just give us a brief introduction about what you do over there at St. Pete.
All right. My name is Coach Ron Hemingway. I played at St. Pete High School. Now I'm able to coach out there, paying it forward. I started off as, a wide receiver coach with Coach Fabrizio, and once Coach Gillen came aboard, I coached the DBs, and then I was put in a position to coach, be the defensive coordinator. I also coached the kickoff team, which take great pride in. We didn't allow a kickoff return this year. We got a kicker that's getting some offers. So yeah, man, that's just some of the things that I do coaching wise at St. Pete High.
Okay, definitely, man. I got the opportunity to see you guys up against Pinellas Park. That was a big game, man, and I saw how you interact with the players, man, which made me, of course, made me reach out to you tonight, because even though you coach those different things, I see that you have you have a relationship, with all the players. So just looking at Jeff, what specific attributes and skills do you think set him apart, just as a player, not only from these two candidates, but just as a player, period?
Oh man, just his that's one of like his playmaking ability, his ability to overcome adversity, the mental toughness and the physical toughness. On what a lot of people didn't know about Jeff, he sustained an injury during the middle of the season. So still to be able to put up the stats that he did and lead the state in rushing and put up the touchdowns, that said a lot about his character and overall. So yeah, this is just some of the things that Jeff provides, man. His dad is a very good person that provides a good blueprint for him that Jeff has been following since youth football, and now we just starting to see everything come to fruition. So it's basically he's enjoying the fruits of his labor right now.
Okay. And let me do this thing real quick. But you guys have had what? I think you guys went 8-2 the last two seasons.
Yeah, we went 8-2, and the year before that 7-3.
All right.
We were able to go to the playoffs first round the last 2 years, but we ran into some great competition, and Jesuit and Gaither was a pretty hot team with the quarterback and all skill position players they had.
Okay. And so moving forward for next year, who are some other guys that I know, I've talked about Big Clifton Sloan, man. If you guys have not went to the game, he's one of those guys, man. He's in that Warren Sapp mode, man. Plug him in on offense, he go do it. He go bring that fire. He naturally brings that foul defense, big guy. You can he stands out. You know what I'm saying? He definitely stands out. Who are some other guys that you think that are going to be standing out with Jeff along the way?
Defensively, we have a kid named Jelan Calvin. Jelan is an athlete that actually played outside linebacker for us, but has the ability to guard a slot receiver and play free safety. Also, he has the ability to return kicks, and he's a playmaker on offense as well. I would also say it's a kid named Jacob Collins. I want to say around the 4th or 5th week, Jacob Collins was one of the leading tacklers in the state of Florida before sustaining a lower leg injury, which he has fully recovered from now. Jacob played Mike linebacker for us and Will linebacker for us as well. Those are some of the kids that I feel like going to stand out. Another kid named LaDanian Stinson, that was a beast for us on special teams and also at Mike linebacker. That's pretty much it, man. Those kids I really feel like gonna be the highlight. We have some other kids that got playmaking abilities. Bobby McCaffrey, he played cornerback for us. He's about 6'1". So I can't wait to see him look real strong today in the weight room. First day hitting the weight, so definitely he's been putting in some work over the winter break. So these are some of the kids defensively that I'm looking forward to seeing playing. But that's just me being a defensive coach. So
right.
With offense, of course, Jeff Jones. We have a kid, last name Grizzard, number 8, played wide receiver for us. Been putting in some work, so I can't wait to see what he does while he's perfecting his craft right now. But those are some of the players I feel like that's gonna highlight St. Pete High this show.
All right, Green, you want to throw some things out there, man?
No, we were able, Coach Hemingway, to start our younger guys, and all those guys that you mentioned were on both me and the Pinellas High School media group for those young guys, man. Getting the opportunity to watch film and just see some of the guys that may not have been known, but when you watch their film, it pops. You know what I'm saying? So just hearing some of the names and recognizing those guys from our 2020 young pup, like our 2026, 27 young pups that's up and coming, man. You guys really have a good nucleus of players over there, and it starts by having good coaches around them. So hats off to you and your staff and the great job that you guys did, because truth be told, had at the beginning of the season someone asked what did we think St. Pete's record would be, or if we thought you guys would make it to the playoffs, a majority of the people would have probably said they would have been 5-5, you know, a 500 ball club, and probably not making it. But the run y'all had, I think y'all ripped off like 5 or 6 wins to surpass a lot of teams and move up in both our rankings. I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think what they ended up in, where they ended up in your rankings for your top 10.
I gotta check it out, man. I know they're definitely in the top 10.
Top 5.
Top 5.
I appreciate the love y'all give, man.
I think they hit top 5, man, and that started with you know, they was already on a big move, but when that Pinellas Park win came, that was kind of like, okay.
Turned a lot of our heads.
That was the one that was like, okay.
Hey, D Green, it's just the culture, man. Like we hold our boys accountable. Our boys whenever they do something, they like do something positive, they recognize each other. So it's like they encourage each other. They know how to get on each other without being too much. It's just like we just got a good culture, man, and I'm just glad to see like the results are showing right now, man. It's not a fluke.
Yes, definitely not a fluke, man. I definitely think you guys got potential to do the same things next year. Definitely get in the same position and you know, possibly make a bigger run, man. I don't know if everything remained the same as far as your district, but I know so with Jace Nixon leaving, that might clear up some things. That boy Henley over there, Gator, man, he definitely was one of the big factors. But you got, you know, I definitely like I said, I think you guys showed up, man. So we gonna move on a little bit, Coach, man. I appreciate you, man. We go get into a couple of these other players, man. But before you go, if you want to throw anything out there, man, go ahead.
Hey, nah, man, just I really appreciate what y'all doing, giving the whole Pinellas County exposure. It's not just about St. Pete High School, man. So just from that, you know, I really appreciate that. And you know, just we're gonna continue staying humble and working hard and doing what we do at St. Pete High. And we look forward to playing some ball in the spring and looking how that pay off for the fall.
Definitely, man. So all good, Coach, man. You know, we go talk soon. We go all get together, man, and we'll definitely talk, man. I appreciate you sliding through.
All right, well,
all right,
D.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, man. So yeah, man, that was Coach Hemingway, man. A real good guy, man. A big leader over there.
Absolutely.
Somebody who I just watched from the side, and I watched him interact with all the players over there at St. Pete. He was able to. I could see that a lot of the players fed off of his energy, and all the other coaches as well. But his energy really stood out to me, man. So we waiting on a couple other guys, but we actually got Coach Harvey in the room, man. Let me see if we can go ahead and add him real quick. Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, man. I appreciate
What's
you.
up, big guy?
I appreciate you
What's up,
sliding.
brother? How you guys doing?
Good.
If I go in and out, I'm driving around the parking lot here in Tampa, so hopefully I can stick in with you long enough here.
All right, all good, man, Coach. But we definitely want to congratulate you on the season. We thank you for taking your time to come through, man, and just wanted to get a little bit of feedback from you as far as Mr. Newton right here and what he's bringing to the table. So he's a junior. I know you've had the pleasure of being able to coach, his brothers. So I know he came in with a lot of expectations that you knew what you were getting. What does he show that we haven't seen, or that what are the attributes that really make him stand out as a player of the year candidate outside of what we've seen?
You said it right. I mean, he's the fifth Newton brother that I've had in the last 8 years, in my 8 years at CCC. And, like I can remember my first year as head coach when we had, Johnny and Jershaun and the twins were all on the team together. And our water boy was Shawnee. And from that day forward, he's been telling me, hey, when my time comes, I'm going to make you forget the rest of the Newtons. And the confidence from a kid, I think that time was maybe 8 or 9 years old. It starts to make you think, if this kid has any kind of work ethic to him at all, with the confidence he has and the skill set that he's going to have just based off of what you saw in his brothers, he's going to be a good player. Well, he's not a good player. He's a great player. And the reason he's a great player is because of that work ethic. They always say that, when your best players are your hardest working kids, the sky's the limit. And that's sort of a Newton trait. They're hardworking kids. They put their money where their mouth is. They're going to put in the time day in, day out to make sure that they're perfecting their craft. And Shawnee's no different than his brothers. And I get in trouble all the time with the rest of them when I say this. The only difference is he's just a little bit more talented. I mean, he's a little bit stronger. He's a little bit faster. He's, I don't want to say that he's the smartest of the bunch, but he's got football savvy to him. And we talk about him as a quarterback, and I think that the thing that for my vote, his vote is because he's not just a quarterback. I think he's a football player. I think he does things for his team that are unselfish, that are you just don't always see in kids that are as talented as he is. I mean, you could see, I can hear it from the crowd. Hey, listen, it's a tight spot in the game, but the defense is on the field, and I can feel everybody telling me, hey, listen, it's time to put Shawnee in the game. Mm-hmm. So he's not just a kid that throws for 2,500 yards and rushes for 1,300 yards and scores 40 touchdowns for 2 consecutive years. He's probably the best player at whatever position we put him at. And that's just, a testament to him as a player.
What percent he was at, Coach, in that championship game?
We don't make excuses, Coach, but
he wasn't 100%.
He wasn't. We played the week before, and he hurt his leg. But there wasn't going to be any keeping him out of the game. If you watch the game, I mean, hats off to that team. I mean, I heard you guys earlier talking about it. It's in all my time in college football as a recruiter and now as a high school coach, it's by far the best high school football team I've ever seen.
Yes,
but I think a healthy Shawnee with the rest of the guys that he has around him, it ain't going to make up 56 points, but it would have been a little bit better contest.
Now, let me ask you this, Coach. Coming in, we saw him at D-line. I remember hearing the whispers he was going to play quarterback. And, of course, I have this rule where, I'm not going to ever announce that. Was that the plan for him coming in? Okay, defensive line, quarterback, or what was it that made the shift from the D-line to quarterback position?
No, I think if you've ever met his daddy, Vaughn, he was going to be a quarterback. I think that, every Newton kid we've had in our team outside of Johnny had a little bit of quarterback in him. You know what I mean? I think that Jershaun could have played quarterback. Vaughn could have played quarterback. I think that Shawnee come in, we knew he was going to be a quarterback. But like I said before, the thing that makes him different is that, is he a quarterback? Yes. Is he a running back? Yes. Is he a linebacker? Yes. When people come to recruit him, I mean, from the best of the best that are coming to recruit the kid, there's probably 5, 6, 7 different positions that the top schools in the country are just vying for him to come and fit what they see him as. And it's not he's, some people are recruited because of as an athlete per se. No one recruits Shawnee as an athlete. Everybody recruits Shawnee as a quarterback because they think he's the best quarterback they have, or a running back because they think he could be the best running back they have. You know what I mean? So he has a position in a lot of people's eyes. It's just different for some people. So for us, the plan was to get him on the field as early and as often as we could. And I haven't accomplished a lot of good things, but I sure have got him on the field as early and as often as I could.
Definitely, man. Definitely. You want to throw anything out there, Green?
Yeah, Coach, I got a question for you. And we kind of know that Shawnee is everything and more so than others. But let's talk about him off the field. What type of kid is he? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of the coaches that come in want to know the character of this young man. And I had an opportunity to coach him in the Pop Warner circuit. And I know, but I don't think a lot of people out there around the county probably don't know what type of young man he is off the field. Can you just speak to that a little bit about what type of young man he is off the field?
Well, let's just put it to you this way. As a sophomore, he was a first-team All-State quarterback. And as a junior, he's our team's most improved player. What I mean by that is he doesn't sort of rest his, he's not satisfied. And I think that's the best thing for him. He told me when he came in as a freshman, Coach, we're going to win a state championship before I leave. And I believe him. I really do believe that. I think that, he's and if we don't, it won't be because of the work that he puts in. You know what I mean? If we ask Shawnee tomorrow, hey, listen, Shawnee, we need you to prepare to play 110 snaps a game, offense and defense next year. That's exactly what he's going to do. I think he's, and what has become what I think the most endearing traits of him, which he shares with a lot of his brothers, especially Jershaun, is that he has this ability to, make everybody around him not just better, but want to be better. You know what I mean? They work hard because they know that their leader, their alpha, is going to work just as hard, if not harder than what they are. So he makes everybody else around him better, and he's not satisfied, and I don't think he'll be satisfied moving forward. So
I couldn't have said it better. Just because I could echo those same sentiments just watching him grow. And the amazing thing is when you see a guy of his caliber, you're not so sure in which direction or which way he'll grow and improve the most. But the one thing that I got from him, because he played the quarterback position in the Pop Warner, and of course it's different coaching, and there's more things that go into play when you get to the up in levels. But just seeing him be able to adjust to the game at the high school level and the speed of the game so quickly, some of the throws that he made was like, man, you can actually see the growth, the timing of some of the passes, him being able to step up, elude some of the rush and not panic and set his feet and throw, crossing routes on time. Different things that you look for, and I'm pretty sure that coaches at the next level look for at that position. He proved that, whoever you guys have over there coaching quarterbacks and, him working with, they did an outstanding job with him in, specific areas, and I seen growth. And so, hats off to you guys, your coaching staff, and, everybody that played a part in his maturation process, because it definitely showed, and it ultimately helped you guys in some situations where the normal guy would have took off and ran and probably not got the first down, where he used his arm to get out of tough plays at times, and then when it was needed, he used his athletic ability with his feet to move the chain. So again, man, just was happy to see and excited to see how he's grown and matured in the position at the quarterback position this year. So, and that was because of your coaches and the staff that you guys had around them. So
Definitely, man. Lane, you got anything you want to throw out there before we let Coach do his thing?
It's just always a pleasure to see CCC play. Coach Harvey do an outstanding job with his team, and like he said, I know he give a shout out to all his coaching staff and players. But going to see a CC game or Marauders game is big. You know,
Yes,
you're
sir.
gonna have a lot of excitement. You're gonna see a lot of big time football, and it's really a pleasure to watch them play football.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate that, Coach Lane. A couple times this year, I think we created a little bit too much excitement for ourselves. But,
Hey,
at the end of the day, I mean,
anytime you see kids, man, y'all be down by 13, 14 points and somehow manage to come back. You don't see that much with high school kids, you know.
Right.
no doubt.
Calm,
But
Coach. It's the
I
calm,
think
man.
that
That's major.
I think the one thing, before we go, I think that I think the same thing a lot of our players do. When we're down 4 times this year by 2 touchdowns or more, what's Shawnee going to do? And he didn't fail us yet. So that's the plan, is just keep, as a coach, our coaches can only do what our players allow us to do. And, Shawnee and the rest of his teammates have done a great job of just, staying the course, working their tails off. And I could not be more proud of them. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for the guys that we have coming back to be led by my man, Mr. Newton.
Yes, sir.
All right, all good, Coach, man. We appreciate you coming in, man, and we'll definitely be talking to you very, very soon.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a great day.
All right, Coach, be safe.
All right, man. So that's Coach, man. Coach Harvey talking about Shawnee Newton, man. Definitely a pleasure to watch, man. Like I said, at the end, it's the calm that you see on the sideline from the players, from everybody, man. That it's definitely, it's a thing to see, because I've been on multiple sidelines, man. I see these kids that down 14, they could get real spicy. It could get real spicy, man. So I definitely appreciate seeing that. That's the thing that sticks out to you when you go there. Not only the fans and not only the CCC culture, because you can see why kids really want to go there. It's an experience. You know what I'm saying? Some of those kids won't be able to have that experience past high school. A lot of them will, but it is an experience being able to go to CCC. So you can see that with the fans. You can see that with the sideline, with the field. You could feel that when you come on to that. So shout out to, once again, to Coach Harvey. Shout out to Shawnee Newton, man, for what he's doing. We got another year to watch him, man, and really see what he has going on. So we got one more player that we're going to be talking about tonight, Mr. Drackett. We should have somebody going on. I don't quite know yet, but Mr. Drackett, man, has been he's been a pleasure to watch. Like I said, with him, man, it's been a big ride, because there was a time where he wasn't going to be in the top 50. We had to figure out between him. Evan Brady was coming out of Palm Harbor at the moment. There were a couple other players that we left off the list that when like I said, when we announced Jacob, people were inbox, who is this, what, blah blah blah, and he if it wasn't for Anthony Calandria, he would have been the top gunslinger the last 2 years, easy. He would have been the top gunslinger. This is a guy who didn't play any football coming into Calvary, and is leaving Calvary with almost 8,000 yards passing and about 600 yards rushing. So he's definitely made his mark at Calvary. Coach Kroom, Coach Kroom has done a great job over there. So we got him actually coming in next week, so we'll get to talk to him a little bit about what he actually. Here he is, right here. Let's go ahead and add him. What's going on, Coach? Can you hear us?
Hey, how you doing? Yes, I do hear you. Sorry
about that delay, man. Sorry about that delay, but we got you in, man. We were just talking about Jacob Drackett a little bit as a player because I believe someone actually informed me yesterday. I don't think he really played too much football before he got over there to Calvary.
Yeah, Jacob had played, on the flag circuit, but yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that was a late bloomer, but, just super smart, young man. And we knew that from the start. And we had two great freshman quarterbacks at the time with him and Trey Hedden both, who ended up at Tampa Catholic, had a great career over there. But both of those guys were at Calvary, man. So we had, two real special quarterbacks we knew. And Drackett, obviously went on to have a great career.
Wow, I didn't know you had Hedden. So, man, you watch two good guys develop. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that's definitely a gift, that you got over there at Calvary, man. Being able to see those two guys, that's big, man. So, what specific attributes and skills do you think has set Jacob apart the last couple of years as far as quarterbacks? What do you think Air Force sees in Jacob?
Yeah, the thing I always point out to people about Jacob Drackett is as you watch these film clips, he's not throwing jump balls to a 6'3", 6'4" receiver. That's never been a part of our offense. We've never had that guy. As you watch clips and watch his film, he's putting the ball on guys that are 5'9", 5'8", he's throwing darts and hitting them right in the chest, right to stride. So that's the one things I say about Jacob Drackett. When you compare him to other quarterbacks across the country who throw for a lot of yards, how many of those yards are on jump balls down the field where the receivers really want to make the play. Drackett does a great job reading the defense, and he's very accurate. I've had some good quarterbacks over the years. Cameron Mouton was Pinellas County Player of the Year years ago. Harold Cook. But Jacob Drackett is the best one I've ever had. Just how smart he is, and when you think about just some of the receivers that we've had, like Josh Robinson, Austin Ho, he's been able to navigate keeping everyone involved. And honestly, I think sometimes young quarterbacks feel the pressure of trying to force the ball to a guy, and he does a good job of getting everybody involved, but taking what's there, and his guys trust him.
Awesome, man. So when he first came in, what did you see that was special, and what has developed the most over the last 4 seasons with him?
Yeah, it's a really good question. First of all, I saw was just a selflessness. Like I said, even and Trey showed a lot of that too, and they both were freshmen. They cheered each other on. They were team guys. So that's the first thing I saw was just his selflessness, and then just his spirit to want to be great. He's a student of the game, very coachable. So those are the things that I saw when he first walked in. And then, what I saw over the last 4 years was just, he's addicted to the grind. He's one of those guys that enjoys the grind. He enjoys the process, very smart. Our playbook this year was wide open, and that was a large part to him and our receivers and just how much they knew our offense. I can install something, day of, and these guys got it, and that started with Jacob Drackett. It's something that even the coaches in the FACA, he got a chance to play in the FACA State of Florida All-Star game. That's one of the things that they discussed as well, was just how quickly he picks up concepts and things that you're trying to teach him. So, it's kudos to, Drackett. I like to think we have a quarterback-friendly system, and that's probably been proven over the years. And, quarterbacks on our offense putting up numbers, that way. But Drackett took things to another level, and, you kind of saw that in the numbers he put up and, setting Pinellas County records.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Green, you got anything for Coach?
Oh, yeah. Coach, no, I was going to come and hit him, man. Coach, you had spoke to about the Cameron Muzons, and I remember when you was at Palm Harbor and just when you came in, you took over for Scargill, I believe, and
it was LePain. Scargill was after me, yeah.
Yep. So my bad.
No, you good.
I knew it was one of them guys, but anyway, you could see like the whole, and trying to be nice how I put this, but just a fire and just an excitement of the players because of the offense that was installed. Like you use the players that you have and you maximize their ability. You know, you get the best out of those players, and you take like an average guy and you make them look like an all-star. You know what I'm saying, with the offenses that you run. And it's just I'm a huge Reggie Kroom fan when it comes to, just because I played receiver, was able to go to play in the Canadian League, and you're the type of coach that I would have wanted to say, like, hey, if I want a guy to run my offense, is I want Reggie Kroom. He has my stamp of approval. And so, like, man, when I got the news about everything going down, man, I was heartbroken. But um, my first thought was, there's greener pastures that's waiting for you. I know that's already in the works. But back to the football aspect of it, what is it about the difference from where you were coming from that you saw that wasn't being displayed here in Pinellas County? Because ultimately you can see that your offenses that you run, nobody else is pretty much running that type of style of offense here in this area.
Mm-hmm. Coach, first of all, man, I really do appreciate, those comments. I'm not, you guys see me, man, I'm not the guy that's trying to be the loudest talking on social media, and boasting and all that. That's not me. Anything I do on social media is maybe highlighting our players, maybe my family or, something like that. But, I'm just not that guy, man. I want to fly under the radar. I always say nobody's bigger than the program, including me, and so that's just the way, how I'm built, and that's how I want our players to be built. But I appreciate those kind words. As far as the offense, man, I always tease and say, man, I wish I was, as far along as I am now, just in the way I think offensively for those Cameron Moutons and those guys I had back then. We did some great things. Those guys were fun to coach, and those guys all made me the guy I am today, as far as, being a coach and a play caller. But I always bring it back, to the players, man, who make it easy. Having a guy like Jacob Drackett, and his confidence, it gives me confidence, and it makes things wide open that way. But when you just talk about me and just my development, I just always pride myself on not thinking I already know it all. I'm a student, of anything I'm doing. So I've spent a lot of time, with Jason Martin when he was over at Florida Tech. I spent time with Tony Elliott, when he's at Clemson now at Virginia. I get out to clinics. I get out and study, man. And I think, there's a lot of coaches that just think they know it all. And, I laugh when I go to places like Glazier and these coaching clinics, and you get there and you see guys, they just sit in the lobby the whole time. They don't think they can go into a session and learn something. I've never been in a session and learn anything. And I think, it's not all of a sudden all about, I can go in there and watch a wing T session and I can pick something up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It could be, I'm not a wing T guy, but I can pick something up sitting in the room. It could be a buzzword. And I just think there's too many guys just, think they know it all and don't continue to reinvent themselves. And that's what I've always tried to do, is just reinvent myself. I mean, if I see something on TV, man, I'm rewinding it. I'm taking notes. My wife is laughing. Like, can we just watch the game? I'm like, I need that for Friday night. You know what I mean? Right. So and it makes it fun for the kids. When the kid, like, I come in and I'll screenshot something. I'll show the film to the kids, or like where I picked it up, man. Michigan ran this last night. We finna do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Or hey, like this year, we played Lakeland Christian, and my guy Danny Williams, I love him. But they was running this little concept out of empty where they were motioning in the 4x1, and it had me nervous looking at it. You know what I mean? Just the options off of it. And Lord knows in the playoffs we put that in, and we made some hay on that. Actually, I think we scored down the Berkeley game. We maybe scored against Clearwater on it as well. So, man, I ain't afraid to steal, or think that that I'm above, anybody else, and I can't learn, man. And so that's what's fun for me. And I just always, want our kids, the kids that I've coached to, always be starving for that, and value relationships that way. So, that's just I think how I've just developed. When you ask me how I've developed, offensively, in this area, that way. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yep, definitely do. And originally, you're from what was it, St. Louis? I
Yeah,
heard.
yeah. I
Yep,
came from St. Louis, Missouri. That's right, man. It's been almost 10 years.
gotcha. Okay. Well, we
Yes.
definitely appreciate all that you've done, and I've had an opportunity to see some of the guys that you've worked with grow, and see those guys going on and do bigger things at the next level. So, just hats off to you and all the things that you've done, and I'm pretty sure those young men love you to death. So over and
Yes.
where you've been. Hmm.
I
And so
appreciate that. I hope, I always hope the relationships aren't just football transactional, that, these are lifelong transactional, lifelong relationships. And like I said, a guy like Jacob Drackett, definitely makes, a guy like me look good, but, these kids are the ones that's out there making those plays. I just try to, we try to put them in position, to be successful and do the best we can. But, it's definitely a pleasure having Jacob Drackett these last 3 years, man. I can't wait to see him at the next level. He's got some of the best arm talent I've ever been around and had a great year. So, he deserves all the attention and recognition that he's getting. He's a great young man.
So Coach, give us a couple players outside of we know about Sparrow, Kono. We know about Austin Ho.
Mm-hmm.
We got Josh. Give us a couple other players so we could keep an eye on that possibly some seniors next year as far as Calvary.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Trinzel Lewis, who's a linebacker that's had a really good sophomore year this year. I mean, he played banged up for us, but was super tough. He had tweaked his knee, so he wasn't 100%, but he went out there, gave us everything he had every single week. But he definitely, should be at the top of the list in terms of guys. Zach Green's another solid receiver that we had too. That stepped up and made some plays when Josh Robinson went down, had a hamstring injury in the middle of the season. Zach stepped up and had some really big catches against Newberry and then also against Berkeley Prep. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, and then just,
We won't put you on the spot like that, Coach.
Yeah.
Players out there, but those are definitely some names, man, that have came across our radar, man. Those are definitely some big names, man. So, man, we already know what Calvary's gonna be bringing in next year. So, we definitely look forward to. We definitely wish you luck in your journey. We're gonna have you here a little bit next week, so we could talk a little bit more, man. And we go ahead and let you ride off, man, and wrap everything up. Anything you want to throw out there, Green?
Nah, man, just I can't wait to get back with them next week because there's definitely some questions I want to ask, and that's for a later day. But man, just again, we just it's a privilege to have you on the show, and I'm glad that you found the time to hang out with guys like me and Coach. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely appreciate you.
No, man, I appreciate you guys an opportunity. I appreciate what you guys are doing. This is something that's needed for the community and for these young men to, get well-deserved recognition. I mean, you're talking about some really good athletes tonight that all, great young men. It was good hearing some of their stories. So, like I said, kudos for you guys for taking the time, to put together a very nice show like this. And you guys have obviously done your homework, and that's awesome.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Thanks a lot, man. We'll be talking to you soon. Hats off to you. Have a great night.
All right, sounds good, man. You guys take care.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all, man. So those are 3 guys. We hope that we threw enough info out there, man. We got running a guy who started off as running back in 9th grade who caught our attention then, ran for about 700 yards in a few games at St. Pete. Has been a career. I mean, you're talking about probably almost 4,000 yards rushing so far as a junior, probably about 2,000 to 3,000 yards passing. All of these guys are at 7,000 to 8,000 yards total offense in their careers, man. So, and then you got Mr. Newton, who not only is bringing in on offense, but he's 9 career sacks on defense. 9 career sacks on defense as well. So we got a lot, man. We're going to be throwing out the award tomorrow. I want to give a shout out to my boy Thomas and Thomas, Coach Thomas from Pinellas Park. got to give a shout out to him. He's gonna be actually presenting the award tomorrow. He's one of our main sponsors on there, so we're gonna be showing him a lot of love moving forward, man. Because if you don't know, I've watched his growth as well, coming from Little League, Pinellas Park T-Birds, to seeing his logo on uniforms everywhere, and watching his growth as well. So it's going to be good to have a local business to present this award to the Player of the Year. So we're going to be pulling up to a school tomorrow and dropping that off, man. And anything you want to throw out there, Graham, before we leave?
No, just again, congratulations to the 3 finalists. Because if you look at that list and you had to pick 3, man, you could have rolled the dice on any of those guys. So for the 3 that we just talked about, a huge honor to just be in that 3, and can't wait to see who who's the nominated guy for this award. And then those who didn't get nominated, or those younger guys who's coming up, it's you guys on the clock. The 2025 class, it's almost like we're gonna hit that repeat button, and we'll be right back in this same spot a year from today. So so those who want to have their light shine in their daytime, their day in the light, you guys put in the work and take it from these guys, and you guys can be there as well. So, but again, for the 3 that we've mentioned tonight, and you guys had an opportunity to hear coaches speak about these young men, and all 3 you can say are special. So again, I'm proud of all 3 of them, man, and hats off to those young men for all their accolades and efforts that they've done throughout this year.
Right. So who are your top players coming into next year?
So my top players, of course, we got Jeff Jones coming back. We're gonna have Shani Newton coming back. Of course, Sean Kono coming back. Don't forget Walter Flanoy out of Bogosiega, who turned it up a notch, and was fighting to get his way as a Player of the Year candidate. We have a lot of guys right now that's right there on the brink. And this is a topic and a take for a later day. But do you think things would have changed had Will Griffin stayed in the county?
Oh yeah.
So
He'd be up on this list right now.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up because this is about the 3 that's nominated tonight. But that was in the back of my mind, that if Griffin had stayed in county, would it be a discussion to have? So, but anyways, those guys for 25, it's gonna really have to be somebody that just come out of the woodworks and surprise us. Of course, you got CAI running back, Mr. Raymond, who will be back. So we got some early front runners, and then we got some guys that's right on the brink. The wide receiver from Northeast, McKenzie, he came on late. Then you also have what's the kid? You still got Triplet coming back. Amon Triplet, the running back from Pinellas Park. So, good core, solid group of young men that's going to have their names in the hat, and we're going to see how it finish out, and who, like they say, the cream rises, and see who's going to be at the top at the end of the show. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And we, like I said, we got Jeff Jones coming back. He has opportunity. Last year he was our Player of the Year, so he has opportunity to win that award again, and then maybe for the 3rd year in a row next year. Of course, like Sean Kono was already on our list. He had a small injury this year, but a lot of people don't know this is a guy who could run that rock and catch that rock.
Oh yeah.
He could get 800 yards rushing, man, and 800 yards receiving. He has the ability to do that, and he could go and split out, man. And like I say, he has Robinson, Green, and Austin Hope that are getting the ball as well. Antoine Raymond, I would love to just see CAI be in a playoff situation, because putting them in a playoff situation, you're talking about an extra 400, 500 yards on top of the 1,800 yards that he had this year. You're talking about 2,000 yards. We got some new quarterback blood coming out of Largo. Trying to see how that goes. We got Mr. White out of Clearwater. He's a prospect that I think he could, Clearwater's going to be riding his back the same way CCC rides Newton back. So can he take that time to really make that happen? We don't know the quarterback situation at Lakewood yet. Bogey had Mr. Flournoy quarterback. Will that happen again? I think he's an athlete that should be moved around. I would have loved to see him in St. Pete this year, but of course, I have no problem with him going over there to Coach Dillard. We just saw him get Armani Sullivan over there.
Yep.
So he has a couple pieces. He has Kevin Davis, who led the county interceptions, coming back. He has some pieces to that puzzle that could really, if Bogey beats a couple teams, they it could really change the culture over there at Bogey. So I like Coach Dillard. I like Northeast. Northeast is a team. They have some players that could stand out, but they're a solid team. So they may have a player that decides to stand out, but the team is going to show up. So it's a couple different players we could look at. It's a different players we could look at. Siebert out of Palm Harbor, Messick. It's an array of players that this spring is really going to. You guys want to really stand out. This is the time you got to really get in that weight room. You got to get in that weight room, and hey, I'm cool with you guys sending me stuff, but let's be realistic. We're looking for the top players. We're hoping to take some guys to camps next year, but it's going to be out of that top 50. We're not just taking everybody. We're going to represent the county, and we're going to make the goal is to get as many recruiters coming back to this county as possible and visiting as many schools as possible. You know what I'm saying? So we need to all go out there and represent Pinellas County, man. So I'm going to end it on that note. Everybody have a good night. We got Coach Crum coming on next week. Coach Kroom, I'm sorry, coming on next week. And man, we got it going on, man. So I'll holler at you, Green.
Yes, sir. Yes. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. We'll talk next week.
Already.
All right, now.
All right.